I added in the secret because this is actually really a new age approach to spirituality. And so New Age is more based upon intuition than anything else. And so the idea is that whatever it is that you're sending out to the universe is actually really going to be coming back to you. It's more to do with being in a positive frame of mind, a positive way in which you're looking at things, and minimizing the negative, or actually not only minimizing them, but removing them from your thought process. It's based in the law of attraction as the most powerful law of the universe, determining the complete order of the universe. It's like a magnet, right? So whenever we are a magnet, whatever it is that we are sending out, we're actually really attracting within. So basically the idea is that God is not actually really external to us. God is within us, and so within the physical body. And the spirit is in the flesh, that the spiritual being, that we are spiritual beings of energy, wisdom, intelligence, perfection. It's all held within us. It's not external and an external endeavor. So therapeutic goals are basically about mediating and visualizing about what it is that the person, the client, is actually really wanting in their life so that they can manifest it. So basically it's a three-step model, right? Create what it is that you're wanting in your mind, believing what it is that you're actually really wanting, sending it out into the universe for it to, in essence, boomerang back to us in order to be able to receive what it is that we're looking for. So creativity and spirituality. Some of the verbal therapies that we have discussed that accentuate creativity are creating alternate stories, using imagination and narrative therapy, as per White, viewing self-actualization as a creative process, and the striving to find meaning in numerous ways, as per Maslow. Directing spontaneous energy into action and play, and the formation of attachments in the external world. And of course, as psychodynamic therapy, the transformation as a creative act. Verbal therapies use creative imagination and fantasy to help move from one psychological stance to another, as well as to build goals and hope. Creativity is part of the great chain of being. And so we look to our Creator, which is God, but the truth of the matter is we are the created as humans. And so we create. And creativity offers increased awareness, leading to transformation or healing, similar to the humanistic existential models that we have discussed. Using the creative act as a part of several arts modalities are used to sequence to invoke inner truth. By going from art form to art form, we're relating to not only our inner forms of inhibition, but also brings us closer to our creative force and towards a sense of oneness. Constructivism leads to the unfolding of stories, metaphors, and initiates process of change, gives us pictures, activates seeing, hearing, touching, and, of course, meaning-making.
So Jane, can you tell me, you've explained that your feelings of depression and anger have increased since your divorce. Can you tell me more about what you're going through?
I don't want to do anything. And I get angry at everybody. I get angry at my kids. I get angry at anyone that I encounter. I have no motivation for anything.
Sounds like you're really frustrated with that.
Yes.
And can you tell me when did this start?
Well, I noticed it after I had my second child.
Right. And what do you think it was about that event in your life, the birth of your second child, that caused these feelings to...
Well, after I had my second child, my husband started to act differently. He was not kind and thoughtful anymore. He was always aggressive and started to come home less and less. He was not spending time at home at all, and then I found out he started seeing a second woman. And I couldn't accept it, and I wanted to get a divorce, and he was happy about that.
That must have been a really tough decision for you.
Yes, but knowing he didn't love me anymore was worse than making the decision to get a divorce.
It sounds like you were really strong in coming to that decision, and but then these feelings of depression and anger developed. Was that after the divorce then? Is that when those arose, or was it before that as well? So when did you start getting angry and depressed?
I remained alone with my two little kids. We once had a very happy life, and we loved each other. We had dreams. I can't accept what he did. I don't have any family or relatives here. We just moved to the city because of his job.
Right. That must have been very difficult and very challenging for you. So what does it mean to you now?
It is hard, but I don't want to be in this situation. I want to continue my life, raise my kids, stop drinking, and find a job. Like, you know what I mean?
That takes a lot of courage to recognize where you are now and where you don't want to be and where you want to move to. So that does take a lot of insight and courage for you to do that.
Yes.
Have you tried to coping strategies? Have you tried some coping strategies that help you work through this, your anger and the depressive feelings?
Well, I mean, I can't forget what he did. And when I think of it, I get angry and I get frustrated. I yell at my kids, and I'm rarely sober. Yeah.
It sounds like you're really finding it hard to let it go, to move forward, but you're not satisfied with where you are right now.
Yeah. I try to accept the reality and forget it by drinking and eating.
Right. So those are the coping strategies you have now. I have a question for you though, Jane. Would you consider yourself to be a spiritual person? For example, does God play a role in your life?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I was a spiritual person. I grew up in an Anglican community. I don't know why this happened. Why did God let this happen to me?
I understand what you're saying, and it's really common for people who are going through life's challenges and difficulties, unexpected events, to maybe wonder what role does God play in this situation, especially if they're coming from a spiritual or religious background. So that's understandable. I'm just wondering, do you feel that God caused that to happen, your divorce, and what happened with your husband prior to your divorce?
Well, no, but he let it happen.
And I'm just wondering, did your husband take responsibility for the decisions he made?
Yeah, he does take responsibility for what he did. I just can't accept what he did to our family by ending our marriage.
Sure. He made a choice that not only impacted his life, but it certainly negatively impacted your life and your children's lives as well. So that's a very difficult and painful experience for all of you. People act against their values sometimes, which it sounds like perhaps your husband did, because you were explaining to me that you both were, had shared dreams and perhaps even shared values prior to this decision he made and the divorce and so on. So when people make those choices, it not only impacts themselves but impacts others, and you've had to deal with that change in your life.
Yeah, it's definitely impacted us a lot, and my kids are having a really difficult time moving on.
So I'm just wondering, are you finding any value in your faith at all? And you said you were part of an Anglican community, part of a religious community, I assume. Is that providing any value for you to help you cope and to move forward?
I guess I could try to forgive him, even though I don't agree with what he did.
So from your spiritual views or religious values, what does forgiveness mean to you?
I mean, I know God is forgiving, and it would be good for me to, forgive my husband too.
which might not be an easy thing, totally understandable. But so can you tell me more just about how you might be able to draw on that spiritual, those spiritual values or beliefs you have, how that could maybe help you to reconcile what's happened and to move forward? Is that?
Sure, like, I guess I could think about, forgiveness as a way of coping with it for myself and allowing myself to feel like, in a way, that it's been put to bed. You know what I mean? And for me to not harbor those feelings and to help my kids not harbor those feelings towards their dad.
So is this something you'd be willing to explore as we move forward and just see how those values and beliefs that you may have and how they may help you to do that? Yes. Okay. Sounds great. Okay, well thank you so much for your time.